Today's topic is about God wanting us to be rich. Basically, in one sentence, I would say God wants you to be rich. God manifests himself through abundance and wealth. Actually, wealth is health in a different dimension. For example, the wealth of the body is called health. The health of your finances is called wealth. So, I will start by saying, look, God created man from the earth. Let me put it this way: God made a human body from the earth. And if a human body is sick, you might as well say that the earth is sick. It's a piece of earth which is now a living soul, which is sick. If a human body is well, we say it's healthy. But if a person struggles, or rather fails to have a good relationship with the earth and with the materialistic things that are on the earth, that person is deprived of wealth. So if you're struggling with your body, you're deprived of health. If you're struggling with the earth, you're deprived of wealth. So basically what I'm trying to say is that wealth is as much a part of a human makeup as health is. Let me put it in a different way. If health is important to you, then wealth should even be more important, because wealth is health of a different area, or wealth is actually being healthy in a different area of life. If a human body is important, then the earth is even much more important than the human body, because a human body is made from the earth. So you have to understand that a human body needs the earth to sustain itself, and it needs all the wealth that the earth has for it. A human being then was given a mandate to dominate and rule the earth. And basically, if we could put it just in simple words, a human being was given a mandate to be powerful, or rather we can say to be wealthy. He was given all this property called earth into his possession, and all the water, all the livestock, etc., etc. To me, this is a first evidence that actually God wants you to be rich. Actually, that is the first mandate that we know about human existence, that human beings actually existed because, or rather existed with a mandate to be powerful, in control, and wealthy. Before even going any further, I'd like to say, look, if we find ourselves in situations where we're not in control, we are not in power, and we are not in wealth, we basically are sick in a different dimension. So all these things, control, power, and wealth, are actually health in a different dimension. So basically, at first, I'd like to say, look, God created the heavens and the earth and everything that is in it so that we can own it. God created it, and the more of it we own, the more obedient we are towards the mandate that we are given. The more of it we control and dominate, the more we are being obedient towards our calling as human beings in general. Our calling is to be in charge. Our calling is to be in control and in command of the earth and everything in it, because the earth has been given to the sons of men, but the heavens is the Lord's, as in the book of Psalms. The heavens is the Lord's, and the earth God has given to the sons of men. He also goes on to say, God says, all the things that are revealed are for humanity, are for us and for our children, but the things that are hidden are for God. That saying is basically an extension of the same thing. So I've even come to a place where I can say that this earth, which we call the physical earth, is actually spiritual, because it was manifested by a spiritual human being. I mean, I'm sorry saying, not human being. It was manifested by a spiritual being. So they're all spiritual. There's even scientific evidence that everything that we can touch is actually not physical. It's I would say, although it's tangible, it's not. It is actually spiritual. For example, everything that we see, all the elements are made up of atoms, which are invisible. And what makes an element different from another, for example silver, the difference between silver and gold is actually the concentration of those invisible atoms. They give a certain look towards towards the same element, and they give a certain feel and certain properties. So it's just an illusional relationship between all those invisible atoms. In fact, there's a research going on in the world where they're designing particle accelerators. The idea is to accelerate these particles and break down an atom to find out if there is a particle within an atom that would be called, or that scientists refer to as a God particle. They even call it a God particle. So basically what I'm trying to say is that if we take our minds to everything, you look at a piece of glass, you look at a piece of steel, you look at a piece of gold, whatever, they are all created, they are all actually a spiritual manifestation. That's why they are made up of invisible particles. So they are not actually as solid as you might think. It's just an illusion. So to me, if I look at this verse that says that the earth is okay, the heavens is the Lord's, and the earth God has given to the sons of men. God has created the earth as our spiritual realm, and He has made the heaven as His spiritual realm. That's why He has not given us free reign over certain spiritual things. That's why we don't see them anyhow, anytime, any place. But however, we have complete control over physical things here on earth, and that's where we are supposed to thrive and excel. I said physical things here on earth. However, noting that the physical things, although we call them physical, they are actually spiritual, because they are made by a spiritual being, and they are our spiritual realm. So the more we excel on this physical realm, we're actually manifesting God's power and God's greatness, God's glory. And God can look at us and say, I love these guys. They are actually doing what I want them to do. So basically, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say God wants us to be rich. God wants us to possess this world, control it, own it. God wants us to be creative. God wants us to be innovative. That's what God wants. That's what He made us to be. He made us to dominate the earth. And every time we do that, every time we dominate the forces of nature and cause ourselves to fly, every time we dominate the forces of nature, cause ourselves to travel at the speed of sound, we cause ourselves to dive deep down under the ocean, or rather to calculate things at the speed of light. By doing that, we're actually manifesting God's glory, because God then looks at us and says, now that's what I wanted. That's the reason why I put them there. That's who I am. But however, God wanted us to manifest this within a certain realm called earth, a physical realm. That is where we're supposed to, or rather within a certain universe, that is where we are supposed to express our dominance. He didn't want us to start competing with Him on other realms, so He created our own spiritual realm, which we call the physical. So I would like to end on those words and say, till tomorrow.